Hello, I'm Tony Ringstad. I'm the founder and CEO of Culture Intelligence, and this is a new global CultureCast. Our ambition is to talk with global cultural intelligent leaders and visionaries to increase insight and applicability in how values and culture can build better business. Our guest today has been working closely with Norwegian Startups and Scaleups for almost 2 decades now. His company, Black Label, has been developing innovative dataviz-rich solutions for companies as varied as banking, Agtech, Proptech, and Medtech. And from the beginning, he preferred to grow Black Label slowly and invest in people and their personal and professional development, just like us. But he's also obsessed with culture, just like us. So, of course, we have to find out a little bit more. So, welcome to us, Black Label CEO and serial entrepreneur in a hotline from Krakow, Poland, Greg Iwacz.
Hi. Thank you
Hi.
for this warm introduction and congratulations for your 17th anniversary, because I've heard there is a rumor that it is number 70 today.
Exactly. You are the podcast number 70, so quite an anniversary. So thank you for last time, a great meetup in Oslo, Greg. Oslo Innovation Week last year and now. And just to sum up, did you get out of it what you wanted?
Oh yeah, this is an amazing event. We've been with the team. We've been in Oslo Innovation Week for I think 3 times in a row, and we have many friends and colleagues here already. I mean, they're in Oslo, so it's always fun, and it's a great experience to see how great ecosystem you have there. You know, it's very nice, and the way you treat sustainability, it's also quite impressive. I think Norway is famous for it, right?
Oh, I hope so. But your words from the outside means a lot.
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like it. We are traveling and to different conferences, and it feels like Norway is very in the forefront of this fight, I would say.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear, and I hope it's true. And so, but then tell me, how are you able to build such a strong network in Norway from Poland?
Well, that's a very good question. I guess we are providing high quality services, and we are doing it for almost 2 decades now. So that basically adds up, and we are familiar with Norwegian culture. So it's quite, at this point, it's very natural for us to build network in Norway.
Oh, then I have to ask you then. So, what is the Norwegian culture from your perspective?
Norwegian culture, yeah, this is a very good question. I think you guys are very conscientious, I would say. Everything is correct. Everything is, I am maybe not from your perspective. You see behind the curtain, right? But what we see is everything is right in place. And you really are trying hard with diversity and inclusiveness. And that's what we see from the outside, at least.
Yeah. How is that compared to the culture in Poland?
I think it's pretty similar, to be honest. It's pretty similar. Maybe that's why we get along so well.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Maybe we are not into sustainability that much, which is not a good thing, but we are trying to change that.
Yeah, good, great ambition, of course, to purpose. So let's talk about Black Label. And I have to admit that the first time I saw that, I thought you were producing whiskey.
Yeah, oh, believe it or not, but we are still getting very weird emails, concerning this topic. But no, this is the story is completely different behind it. But I'm not gonna get into this. So Black Label is a company that's very culture driven. We were also putting people first. I know it's a slogan, but we really do. For that reason, we were not really growing very rapidly. We were always moving slowly, one step at a time, not to lose this culture, because it was very important for us to build this foundation and then just move one step ahead. Because if you are running, you can lose things in the process, and we never wanted that.
Yeah, but how did you do that?
Well, there are two components to this. One is that at the early stage, we were hiring junior developers mostly. And by this, we were able to kind of teach them our culture, right? So, in this culture, it's who I am and the early employees are. We've built this culture like kind of naturally, and then every single person that was joining was kind of learning this culture. And that was, from this perspective, it was easy. At some point we were growing faster, but then we had to sit down and discuss what are our values, for example. So it was a long discussion, very long process, and yeah, we came to some conclusions and wrote it down. And now we are really trying hard to live by those rules and by those values.
Yeah. So I'm now curious, what are your values?
Yeah, so there are two values that are pretty, I would say, well, normal, which is growth. We all want to grow because we are a team of specialists. Most of us are engineers, and we have this thing in us that we want to grow. We want to learn new things all the time. So this was one thing. The other thing is is professionalism. We want to be as professional as possible. We are really providing high quality services, and this is very important for us. And the third thing is something that we call atmosphere. It also may be called ambient. And this is a much bigger thing because it consists of things like authenticity, open communication, for example. It's all prerequisite to trust, which is very, very important for us. We are trying to be as genuine as possible. And this is this atmosphere, so to speak.
And let me learn more about why are these things important to you in addition to the technical skills that you obviously look for. Why do you believe this is an advantage? So
I believe that culture is very important. Let me tell you how I see a company as an entity. So I strongly believe that the company is a good company. Obviously, is right people in good people in right places in the first place. Then there is a culture that is a glue, so these people stick together. And then there is a vision, so these people know where to go, where to move this company, right? Without those three components, well, you can have a company. Obviously, there are many companies that don't have culture, or they are not aware of their culture because they all have some kind of culture, right? But there are companies that don't have vision, and then there are companies that don't have right people in the right places. So it is possible, but for us, it's not the way we want to be. We want to, follow those three things. And that's why culture is very, very important for us. Yeah. It sticks, it glues all the people together.
Yeah, and I remember when we first met, we met Tim, and he was like almost obsessed by the presentation we had because there was a system to it. And he was like, we just have to meet. We just have to talk. So that was unreal. And he said, I have a CEO, he said, that is equally obsessed with culture that you are. So this was interesting meeting for us.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true. So of course, then I become really curious and see. But have you do you have experienced advantages in the market when you can grow that type of a company?
You were asking if the culture helps us grow, right? Yeah, it does. It does because culture is something that's elusive for many. But I can give you an example why it's not. For example, for us, we've lost one person left the company in 7 years. That's a lot. I mean, that's not a lot. That's nothing, I would say, right? So it impacts the knowledge pool that we are having in a company. We don't need to hire people. We don't need to onboard them. We are not actually losing money. It's also about money, at the end. We are not losing money looking for people, then training them, then then the new people, we need to teach them the culture, or we need to find the right culture fit. It's a lot of work, we are saving a lot of work because of this, because of a culture we have.
And that, of course, saves you money. But is it also a competitive edge in the bidding for a contract, or any in certain?
Yeah, sometimes there are companies then that consciously or unconsciously are kind of matching with other companies that have similar culture. You have a conversation with a customer, and they say, you are exactly like us. We want to work with you because we vibe, we know, right? And then this is the holy grail. This is a perfect situation, because then cooperation is amazing, right?
Yeah,
and
that's what I felt when you were the one that sort of took the arguments that every company has to build their culture right, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that's my line. Then you feel that, hey, this is someone like us.
Yeah,
so I recognize that that connection.
Yeah, and cultures are different, and but then you can feel that there is this matching thing. This is elusive sometimes, but you feel it, right?
Yeah. And that's the same with us. When we meet a customer, he says, this is really important to me too. Then you have something you can build on and build a partnership on.
Yeah,
it's of course what we want to do. So tell me a little bit about the global business in tech right now. What's going on in tech business right now from your side?
Oh, well, this is a very, very difficult question. I think that at this particular point, we are a little bit beyond this hype about AI. AI is everything was about AI at some point. Now people are more skeptical, and people see that AI is not an answer to everyone's problems. And this is one thing. And now we are approaching this era when we have to decide where to use AI when not. And there are very, very difficult questions, especially for the leaders to answer.
Yeah. It's a hard call for because we are in the first stage of our AI, like we talked about our AI co-pilot, and he can give a lot of guidance and recommendations, but he can't really do all the math itself yet. So there's another step to be made for us also.
Yeah, but this is
Yeah, go on.
No, I wanted to bring up a pretty interesting case from Krakow recently. There is this, let's say, niche radio station here in Krakow. And recently, I think a few weeks ago, all the presenters in this radio station were switched to AI. So they terminated their contracts. Well, actually, technically, they didn't extend their contracts, and instead of humans, now this radio is run by AI, by artificial intelligence. And what's interesting, this they started this thing by playing the interview with a Nobel Prize winner that's already passed. So it was amazing. She's not with us anymore, but she made an interview, right?
Yeah.
And artificial intelligence kind of pretended to be her, and But and this is the question: if we should do it this way or not. And this is what's ahead of us. This is a point where we are now. So should we do it or should we not? Because it's about jobs, right? We can say it like this, but we can think about it like jobs and capitalism and economics and business, but also there are people there, and for many of those people, it was a personal and professional fulfillment to work in the radio, to express themselves. It was their life, and now it's gone. So it's not only about money very, very, very often.
So that's, of course, the social impact, but I'm curious, for you as a CEO of a tech company, is it better with AI or is it not?
It's definitely better.
Yeah.
It's definitely better.
News that you can actually perform something better because
Yeah.
you have more precision and more data, and it's
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can be talking to ChatGPT, for example, and asking him questions and getting knowledge much faster than I would having Google or anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I need to admit it helps me write posts on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
This is also it's saving time, right? A lot.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, it's same with us. But if we think about it, and my curiosity goes to where now, let's say AI is here to stay. We have the services in every office, and it's there. What kind of culture do we need then?
That's a very good question. I don't think that AI will impact culture that much. It will not impact our values, right? It will just help us be more efficient and work faster, or maybe better. But still, our values are our values, right? Our culture will stay intact, I guess. Well, maybe a little bit changed, but I don't think it will be like, breaking it all.
But this is a difficult question in my mind, because if AI is pointing us to work with higher efficiency, higher speed, higher accuracy, then it will impact our culture. It
No,
will
but
train us or align us to do some of the work sort of in the same way.
well, it's not like we will be working faster. We will be working in the same pace, but the outcome will be greater.
Yeah.
Therefore, it will be perceived that we are working more or faster, but we cannot work faster. There are some limits. Come on, and that we won't. No.
Yeah. But I think this is, and the other question that I'm curious about is, can we actually give AI a personality? Can we apply a couple of values to the AI service, and we can have that service with some sort of alignment to a type of culture we want?
That's a very nice question. I think so. I believe
You and I may have to do that together,
we may ask AI to inherit some kind of values.
Yeah.
That's it. I guess that's it. That's as simple as that. We will just tell the AI, just from now on, your values are this and that, and AI will understand and will work and operate accordingly.
Yeah, we can try that, because let's say, if give me all your answers should be aligned with trust, responsibility, and visionary thinking.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens.
It's yeah. It's even more interesting than that. I don't know if you've seen this recent experiment. People basically are journaling using LLMs and ChatGPT in particular, right?
Yeah.
And then every day they're just explaining how was their day, what were the struggles, what they felt, and after some time, this ChatGPT or any other model learns who they are, how they are, and actually can behave not even according to their values, but according to them as their personality.
So you could actually get your best friend.
Well, yeah, or you can ask a question: what should I do? And then, according to who you are and what is your personality and your values, you should do this, or I think you should do this, right?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea.
It's interesting, though.
It is, but it's well, when I think about it now, I don't think it's that good, because listen, computers caused us to kind of lose our memory. We don't have to remember anything. We can type it in our phones. I honestly, I don't remember much. I think that my phone is my memory right now. It's yeah.
Yeah. No,
Then AI can do calculations for us and some logic tasks already. Then AI in the future will be able to make some decisions for us. So who are we then? Like, we are stripped from our brains are stripped from all these functions. Then who are we? What are we gonna do?
Left for us.
Yeah. It's like,
and it's a fascinating visionary scope, I think, and of course where we are with all the data that we have on values and culture, we can actually perform and projects or initiatives, or just try this out and see what happens, and then not in a large scale, of course, but it's possible to think that way and have the AI service come back at us with a certain values alignment, which is so that's interesting. But in your company, Greg, in Black Label, what's ahead of you right now? What is the global vision for Black Label, and with a values-rich culture that you have?
So, well, the vision is to do what we were doing already, because we have a really strong culture, and we have our vision and values in place. So basically, we are moving forward, and we are doing what we were doing in the past. With AI, it didn't change that much, to be honest. Let's get back to our values. Let's say professionalism, right? It helps us be more professional, AI, but it still remains. We still want to be professional, right? Growth, the same. It helps us grow faster and faster. And with this thing that we called atmosphere, it's not really helping, but it's so we keep being open and genuine and authentic, and we keep trusting each other.
Yeah. But we are ahead of a pretty serious election out in the world in not too long. Do you see that the world situation will be impacted in such a way that we have to change values or culture?
Not really. I mean, tomorrow is the election day, and let's cross our fingers from one side or another. But no, I think that AI is shaking the world, right? And what is happening with elections and everything, the world is very shaky, and a lot of things are changing all the time. And now, more importantly than ever, values and culture is, because we need to make decisions in this very turbulent and fast changing environment. And if we don't have a strong culture, if we don't have a strong vision, then we can get lost very, very easily. I've seen that many times for companies that are similar to ours, that AI appeared and then they started doing AI. It's like, what are you doing? This is not your business. Just chill, But this is for companies that don't know what they are doing. They're trying to pull everything that's new, and that's not the way to go.
Yeah. And this, I think, is where we meet deeply, because it's we believe strongly, of course, that people do need to know about their own values, and they do need to be aware of what's going on in the values world around them. So that's our big purpose, to get that insight into more as many leaders and teams as we can.
And this is extremely helpful. Whenever we have in Black Label, whenever we have a decision to make, we are looking at our vision. Then we are looking at our values. Well, sometimes the decision is obvious, so we don't do that. We just feel it or we know it. But sometimes it's very, very hard to do. And then we see our vision, we see our values, and we are making a decision based on those. And then we communicate this decision, and we kind of highlight, like, listen, guys, we did it because of this and that. This way we are open, we're transparent, and we are also teaching all the people that this is important. Because this is not nothing. This is not just words on the paper. We are living by it. We are making decisions based on it. And then they learn to make decisions based on values as well, And then they come to me and say, like, last week you did this, you decided, but it's not aligned to our values. They're like, oh yeah, really, it is, isn't it? Like, okay, I'm sorry, let's change that. Let's it happened a few times, like, say, oh, this is really according to our values. So like, you may be right, Let's change that. Let's get back. Let's reevaluate.
Yeah, that takes a lot for you as a leader, I guess, but it's a good call.
Yeah, of course, always. If you made a mistake, that's always you have to, with the big decisions, obviously we have this, we are discussing them and there is no room for error. But sometimes these small things are, they can slip. And yeah.
Yeah. So it's really wonderful to hear from a tech leader in particular to talk about values and culture in this way, Greg. So I'm deeply thankful for sharing your story. And at the end here, what would be a good advice to other tech leaders from your side?
I think it's related to what I said before. Like, I think that we all should be aware of what our companies are and what they are not. In this case, what are the values of our companies, where we are heading, being more let's say self-aware, to make better decisions. Because in this environment, when everything is changing from it's crazy. You need to know where are you going, and you need to know who you are in order to make a decision. I'm not talking about leaders personally, but I'm talking about more like companies. We need to be aware what are the companies and what they are not.
Yeah. But what about them personally?
It's the same thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You need to know your goals. You need to know what you are, who you are not, and who you are.
Yeah.
And what do you want, and
Yeah, and how your values.
Exactly. It all goes back to values,
It really does. So that's why I think it's super cool to have leaders that are intelligent about this, because it's a growing field, but it's in my mind is going too slow. So we need to.
That's true.
Everything is a bit too slow. So, but thank you so much for sharing all this, and good luck with doing this from your side.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll keep it up from our side, and then we'll see you in Oslo.
Yes, see you in Oslo, hopefully very soon.